You really can't write a speech about an instruction manual on sacrifice, especially in today's world. But let me back up. Long after Adam and Eve, after becoming a people and through the Jewish course of time, we eventually became slaves in Egypt. But nobody wants to hear that story again. The true superheroes of the day were not prophets like Moses, but the people who endured the long, grueling 40 years in the desert. Through their challenges, they stuck with their promise that they'd made to continue making sacrifices to give thanks to God. Just like you can't achieve a goal without guidelines, they gave structure to their promise. So they came up with rules. Rule number 1, keep the fire burning always. Rule number 2, sacrifice every night, letting the pleasing odor of burning cow flesh go up into the heavens to reach God. Rule number 3, everything has to be quarantined. The cleanest rags go to the coolest dads. In other words, be priestly, be clean. Rule number 4, tend to the fire all night and only in the morning take out the ashes. You have to remember this is breakfast time, so they made pancakes. Pancakes out of oil, flour, and spices. Yum. So why did I tell you all this? Civilization, after all, is not at all what it used to be. We don't sacrifice animals anymore. We are much more civilized. We butcher them. But after a long month of contemplation and reflection, a couple meetings with the rabbi, and everything in between, I realized there is one thing we do still sacrifice. We sacrifice for the greater good. As my dad, the philosopher, would say, the utilitarian view. Now that's all fine, but you may be asking yourselves, do we still need to sacrifice? I mean, haven't we thanked God enough already? To which I would say, no, we haven't. The question we should be asking ourselves is not, when is it enough? Rather, will it be enough? We should always be striving to do something for the greater good, just not an animal sacrifice. You might be wondering how you can make your own modern-day sacrifices, to which I would say it's really up to you. But I'll give you some examples. At my school, we have a goal of completing a certain amount of volunteer hours by the end of the year. Some of the things I've volunteered for included the following: take a hander-outer at a festival, token hander-outer at a race, seed planter in a greenhouse, cupcake decorator, and happy birthday singer. But the thing I enjoyed the most in all of my time was the sense of genuine, the thing I enjoyed the most of all of my time was volunteering at our own synagogue to serve food to the homeless. Why? The reason I enjoyed going so much was the sense of genuine joy and gratitude in the room. It wasn't just an autopilot thank you or a please. It was a real heartfelt gratefulness for the warm socks, chocolate cookies, and cold milk we gave out. Which made me wonder, was it really a thank you for God or for you and me? The reason we sacrifice our time is not just to please God, but to please ourselves, too, in a different way, of course. As Reb Nachman once said, we reach up to God, out to other people, and into our own hearts. The secret is that all three directions are truly the same. When the Jews were wandering in the desert for 40 years, they had to make sacrifices every day. You might think it was tedious or annoying following rules number 1, 2, 3, and 4. But truthfully, they had a chance to reach into their own hearts every day. This is not something we choose to experience a lot, but it doesn't have to be that way. The smallest things can make the biggest difference. Pick up a piece of trash, thank a teacher, help someone when they need it most. With just a little effort, you can find the best you. Shabbat Shalom.